Hey, everybody. I just want to welcome everybody. We haven't used this platform in a very long time, so I thought it would be appropriate today to do this since we've been going live every day from the grow room. And we're really only seeing one side. Well, we're about to rectify that with more cameras, and they're going to be coming very soon, probably in the next couple days, or at least by Monday afternoon if we can get all the bugs out. But somebody had mentioned in a comment, and it was very sweet, and I think they were very, very sincere. So thank you so much for putting that out there. And I'm doing my best, as I mentioned to you earlier, with this rollout and going live and being live every day, of you guys being able to click in and out of the room when it's convenient for you to see what's going on. You can't really see up close and personal into the towers. And so the new cameras, we're going to be able to zoom in a little bit. I won't know exactly how close we can get until they're installed, but we'll definitely be better, especially on the other side of the room. So, but today I want to just take this comment, and I took some short videos yesterday and put them into this platform, into the podcast platform, in a live session too. And we can, go through them one by one and, just see what's going on. And if you guys have any questions, please put them in the comments and we can kind of work through them. But there's so much happening in this room. In each tower, that I just want to go through it. I'm seeing it on different platforms and, posting pictures here and there. And people are like, oh my God, that's gorgeous. Like with the cucumbers. They have questions about the seeds that I'm using. We have a specific issue in one of the towers, and we'll get to that tower in a second, with the second zucchini, and that you probably heard me mention that it's it's got some issues. I'm using a seed that just really isn't meant for the tower, but we'll hang on to that for a quick second. But so I have everything all set up to go here, and then we're just going to go through each video and chime in if you need to or have a question. But I'll be sure to cover what I'm doing for the nutrition, what I'm doing for pH. Any problems that I've come up against, we'll go through those. So let's get started. All right, so the first video is the broccoli. So I've just to throw that out there, I've never grown broccoli before. I've been intrigued, but I do know that it is a big leafy type plant for the tower. So I've, as you've heard me say in the lives downstairs, that I make shorter stacks. And what I mean by that is the base comes with its first component with the top, and then there are just a few, 1, 2, 3, 4 other components, and then the shower cap that I put on top with the lights. So I keep it short so I can turn the towers over quicker, so that if there's an issue, that I can take it apart very, very fast, and then have seeds in the nursery ready to go and get it back in there. And you're going to see that probably come this weekend, or maybe Tuesday, the latest, when we turn over that the zucchini tower that's not doing so well. So let's get into this video. You can see the seedlings here on the right. They look like little clovers, how appropriate for March. And then I put them in the tower the other day. I kind of did that quietly downstairs without, any fuss. And they actually seem to be doing well. So the one thing that I will say is that when I put something in, you guys know that when I do the seedlings, I just do it with tap water. I don't put any nutrients in there. I just kind of leave it alone, let them do their thing on the heating mat and in the little greenhouse that's there under the spider lights. And then once they have the roots and they've got their system going, I'll go ahead and put them in the tower. Now the tower has the 20-gallon reservoir because this is the flex. And I keep the nutrients very low. I literally, I think I added 3/4 of a cup of A and B. I use Towergarden A and B into the water, mix it up real good, and then I adjust the pH. And the pH in the room, for the most part, is I try to keep it at 6. The only thing that I let go a little bit lower is the lettuce, which I keep it between 5.5 and 6. They don't like it any higher than 6. you'll start to see the browning or yellowing. And it doesn't thrive. It's just too much. And you also want to keep your nutrients on the low side too for the lettuce. They don't really require a whole lot. And that's why I call it kind of a phase one plant. Just a side note here, if you haven't checked out the new website, please do, towergardenmadeeasy.com. I revamped it, and it just really goes along about what I preach, what I talk about in the lives downstairs and even here, that there are phase one, phase two, and phase three plants. And that's all well explained in the tower, but we'll go through it obviously again in time. So let's go ahead and pop on the video. So this is the little broccoli tower that I put together. These are the seedlings that came up real fast, and planted these guys in there yesterday. So there are 10 that I planted, and as you notice, I did not fill every net pot. And as you know, you guys, I only do a short tower so that I can turn the towers over. But they're doing just great. I adjusted the pH to 6, and I adjusted the nutrients for the first week to 1.2. The recommended nutrients for the EC on this is it's on the higher side. It's a 2.4 to a 3.5 once they get mature. So that's where we are with the broccoli, and I'm going to go ahead and post this in the post area so you guys can take a peek. But aren't they cute? Okay, they are. They look like little four-leaf clovers. I'm just putting this out there in case you guys want to read that. Okay, so that is the broccoli tower, and it's, we'll check it when we go downstairs after our little break after this session. So let's go ahead to, honestly, this is my favorite tower. I don't know how I'm going to feel when I have to turn the tower over. I'm so attached to it. I've always said, if you guys have watched my other lives or podcast, I don't believe in houseplants. When you have a tower, it's there for a reason, and it's there to support growing food for you and your family, neighbors, friends, or whoever you're giving it to. But this tower really kind of has my heart. So let's go ahead and move on. Okay, this is the big boy. Just a little caveat here. When I took a break over the holidays, I cleaned out the entire room. So all of these towers that you're seeing, with the exception of the broccoli and the new summer squash, they were all started in, I want to say, the beginning of December, somewhere in that range, because I took a good break because of the aphids. I decided that I could, get a tower, under control, but then they would jump somewhere else. And the only way to get rid of them, honestly, is just to shut the room down, shut your tower down, clean it, give it time, 2 weeks, 4 weeks. I gave it a little more time to spend time with my family. And then now we're up and running with no issues. So this guy really took off, and I'm using the survival skill seed, and it's the Black Beauty. And it's in the website. So if you just go to my favorite seeds, it's right there. And this is, if you follow what I'm doing, how I'm feeding, how I'm taking care of it with the nutrients, your zucchini will get this big. I'll do a little video. So we pollinated this guy yesterday, and he looks good to go. Look at that blossom on the bottom. Remember I talked a little bit about the ballooning, how it balloons like that. And that's a good indicator that it's pollinated. This is the one that I did the other day, and you can just see already it's shiny, it's growing, the balloon. When your zucchini, even summer squash, but especially this tower, when something's pollinated, it's going to tell you. It's literally going to take off. So if after 24, 48 hours, you have pollinated the flower, it's completely open, let it engorge to the biggest part, and then get in there with not just one flower pollen, but 2 or 3 if you have it. Mix the pollen. I have found that works the best. But if you only have one plant and you only have one extra flower, of the opposite, then just use it. But you can save these flowers and put them in a Ziploc bag and put them in your fridge. But I have so many, I just go from one to the next, mix it and put it in there and kind of layer it into the fruit flower. and I've had really, really good success. And you can do that with anything. You'll see me go from the summer squash to the zucchini, cucumber, even the melons. You'll see me go from flower to flower and then back. It's kind of, think of it like a bee. A bee will go to one area and he will buzz around grabbing pollen from different areas and then go back. So that's kind of what I'm emulating. So let's go ahead and finish this. It's deflated, and now it's just focusing on growing. And then, got some beautiful flowers that are still coming in. I got lots of little babies over here that are hopefully are going to pop up. But you guys get an inside look. Look at this. Is just one plant. This whole thing right here, and right here. This is one plant that just kept going and going and going. Now this is another one right here. So when I say one plant, what it did was it had one mother stem coming out of the net pot, but then it grew like side shoots, and then it kind of had a life of its own. But the success of this particular plant is that the stem never really got too long before it started to really grow these massive leaves, which then helped balance it. That was the success. Now you'll see right here those two strings, and that was the video that I did last week called the workaround, and how to support where you're just tying some simple twine and attaching it to the trellis above, and I do two on either side to just lift it just enough so that it doesn't crack that main stem, because once that happens, it's kind of a tick-tock as to when you're going to have to pull that. And again, right here, look at the balloon. At the very, very end, he's got squished a little bit from that leaf, but you can. They do something very interesting when they're pollinated, and I have noticed it because these blooms are so large. I never noticed it with the summer squash. You don't notice it with the melons or the cucumbers, but because the flower is so big, when it's pollinated, it's kind of like it collapses like a balloon together, and it stays like that for at least 24 hours, and then you'll start to see it deflate, and then man, oh man, that fruit is going to grow, and you better keep an eye on it because it gets really big fast. And then you got to pull it. If it's not being supported, you got to pull it so it doesn't crack the plant. And then there's another one right there that looks like it's going to pop in a couple days or so. It's still too green. It's the indicator there. And see the workaround right there? Let me just go back. Let me see if I could wind that back a little bit. You can see the string, and you can see right there where I support it. But see what I'm talking about? It got really, really long. And then now the plant is kind of hanging over the trellis. This is a different one, obviously. And, eventually I'm going to have to probably take this out and turn the tower over. But the other one, I'm going to let it go. To be honest with you, the tower still looks really, really clean. I keep cutting the roots in the water so it doesn't take over. It's just a beautiful plant. And then we've got a skinny one right there. I don't know. See, that's what I mean. So I pollinated it just like I did the others, and it kind of ballooned, but not really. But it stayed that size. So I could just clip it, and I probably will later today. And you could dice it up and eat it. There's nothing wrong with it. It just didn't get massive like the other ones. I don't think he's pollinated, but I could pull him off and just cut him up as is. But then the one that I did yesterday, gonna get under here so you can see it. See the balloon? He's pollinated. So we've got 3 or so that are pollinated. But as you can see, remember I was talking about the backside being so empty, and here are the ones that we planted a while ago. And this is, I'm going to be taking these guys out, look at that root, yum, and putting it next door. So these are the same seeds that you're seeing in this tower, and we're going to get to the next phase in just a quick second. Into the other tower that's just sad, but we'll get to that one in a minute. Sad is the right word. If you guys, and I should have put a picture here on the next one, but you can just take that in for a quick second, and it's just, that tower is just a hot mess. But just to go back, this other, the big boy tower is just amazing. And the seeds that I used that are in the nursery right now are the Survival Black Beauties, the big ones that I've been growing. So if you've got room on your tower, I would put it at the base of your tower. I would not put it high. And that way it's got a little support on the top of the reservoir. And, play around with it because they really do. They'll give you bigger fruit than you can buy in pretty much any grocery store. This is, what you basically grow in your backyard. So we finish that. So let's go ahead and move on to our sad tower. All right, so let me just, before we go any further, there's a video if you want to go back into my old videos called Bad Seed, Big Lesson. So I'm not dissing this company, but just be aware that not every seed can be used in the towers. They're meant for outside or a greenhouse. Botanical Interest, I use some of their seeds. I really, really like the company. I like what they do. I like how they harvest their seeds. There just seem to be a well-run organization. So I just want to say that up front that I'm not picking on this particular company. It's just I've used their seed for zucchini, same kind, Black Beauty, but it just didn't work. I did ignore this tower on Sunday. I didn't top it off with water. I may have tested the pH. I don't remember. And right now I tested the nutrients yesterday and they were like, I don't know, 2.7. So it's way too high for zucchini. So it's starting to suffer. But there are some small zucchinis on here that I've tried to pollinate. And maybe there's one or two that are good to go. But honestly, it's not worth it. I think I just want to break it down and I want to move on because I like growing the big guys. Okay, this is the tower. This is the one that's in the corner. This is the Botanical Interest Black Beauty. As you can see, there's little mini ones, and there's a couple down here. I just did the EC, and it's way too high, but I'm not going to focus. I'm not going to concentrate on this because we are going to be taking it apart, and we're going to be using these guys and what's in the nursery to replenish this. We're going to take it apart because, as I mentioned the other day, not all seeds are created equal for towers. It's pretty much you have to try and see what works. Like in the back, just in the video of the Bad Seed Big Lesson, it was green beans. And I think that I had bought, in the video, I bought, it wasn't from this company. It was just like, I think from Walmart or even Target. And it was just a basic green bean, like a bush bean. And I planted out the entire tower, all 20 nut pots. And instantly the leaves started doing something very strange. Like they started turning yellow and brown. And no matter how I fixed the nutrients or the pH, it just wasn't having it. It grew out and it produced a little bit, but they were very strange. So I just said, you know what? I called it a day and said, I'm done. And I took it apart. And so that's what that video kind of was telling everybody. And it's the same thing here. I mean, I've spent many, many weeks getting it to this point where it's, I can say that like this guy looks, getting the leaves is big, getting the stems is big, but it's been a struggle. I've had to get in there and I've really had to clip back, getting it to air out so that it fans out so that there's air and there's light. It's very concentrated. The leaves just stack on one another. No one really wants to, kind of really take off. There is one plant in the back, and you'll hear me say this in a minute. If the weather here in New England was warmer, I would take it out, and I think there's one on the side that I would take out and I would put outside. But it would never make it right now. It's too cold. Pretty healthy, to be honest. It looks pretty healthy, and like here's one that I could pollinate, but it's not going to get very big. It's not going to be like what we saw a minute ago on what I call the big boy tower. But you can just see right here. Look how sad that is. And that's literally within 24 hours. I'm in that room twice a day, 3 times a day, and it just does not like the tower. These seeds are just not meant for the tower gardens. It doesn't like the tower, and it's yellowing, and that probably has something to do with the nutrients, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, this week the nutrients are way too high, so yeah. Too high, and the pH is probably a little off too, but I'm not going to worry about it. I tried the seed. It happened to me once before. If you want to go back on the videos, it was called, Bad Seed, Big Lesson. And then I kind of feel the same way about this. I don't really think I did anything wrong other than this seed from Botanical Interest for the zucchini just doesn't like the tower. But if I put this outside, I bet it would be phenomenal. And I think it would probably do really, really well. Like if I could, I would probably take this one and I would take the one in the back and I would stick it in a pot outside, and I bet you would. I'm thinking about potentially adding a greenhouse, but that would be a very long-term goal, just because there would be permits involved in potentially getting an easement. So don't tell my husband yet. But we'll see, because if I had a small greenhouse on the side of my house, it would be warm enough to take these, put them in a soil. I mean, literally, you just take them out of the tower, leave them, all the roots intact in the little rock wall, and stick it right into soil, and it's good to go. Like I did it last year with the round zucchini. I think I mentioned that yesterday. Oh, by the way, if you were in yesterday's live, downstairs, and I was playing around putting today's kind of podcast together, I hit a button and it deleted yesterday's live. So my apologies. But I was explaining that you could just take the whole thing out, stick it in some dirt, put it outside. If you're in a climate right now that's warmer, if you've got a greenhouse, you could do that too. But they would never make it. Right, fantastic. But it's just not meant for the tower. And that's okay. I learned. I'm not going to use this one. I'm going to use this seed, and that's what's on this back side right there. And it's going to go right here. All right, so I can't wait to get downstairs a little bit later and check on the seedlings, because those are all the Black Beauty Survivor seeds. Yesterday afternoon, I think one had popped up, but we've got 3 that are in the big boy tower right now, plus the one that's popped, so that's 4. So now we just got to wait a few more days for the rest to pop up, and then we'll just be ripping that all out and starting with the survival seeds in that tower. And honestly, that tower's not very dirty, so depending on what I find, it's going to be a quick little turnover. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to summer squash. Which one is this? Okay. So remember, we turned this tower over, was it a week or so? And we cleaned it up because the stems were all broken. We went through that with a workaround. These are about now, what, a week, maybe 10 days, and it's doing really well. I need to check the nutrients. I want to say it's still on the lower side, so maybe like 1.2, 1.3. So this week will be when we need to bump it up into maybe the 1.5, 1.7, and then let them develop the leaves. Right now, you'll hear me say that they've got the 3 and 4. All right, so this is their new summer squash tower that we planted out, and as you can see, they have their 3rd and 4th leaf right there. Most of them anyway. They're doing really, really well. I don't see any yellowing, browning. I topped off some rock wall there just to kind of give it a little more stability. And we got 2 plants. We got 1 plant. There's 2 in there. There's 1 in there. So right now they're all doing really, really well. I have no complaints. And notice I didn't put a lot down here just because it's against the wall. So I'm really pleased with the... As I move forward with building these big green plants in the grow room, I've learned a couple things. Maybe with the zucchini, you can put them down there, but then just don't put a whole lot above it. But you can't do both. So with these guys, I just did the top and I didn't put them on the bottom. And you definitely want to skip those ports that are near the where you're checking the water and your nutrients. You really want to keep that area clean of anything, because you don't want something falling in the water, and you just want to be able to get in there. So the big boy has grown so much that there's no way that I can avoid that at this point, and I don't want to cut too many leaves off. So that's an exception. But you'll notice all of my towers, I really try to keep that area free and clean of any debris. Both on this, and we will just keep you updated. All right, so and that's pretty simple. So we'll go on Sunday where I do the big water day with the nutrients and the pH, and we'll see what this tower needs. But let's move on to the one it's a little bit older and mature. All right, so this is the older summer squash that we left. And I think I talked about this yesterday in the live that this plant likes to grow out and then over. And so I've grown summer squash in the past, but this particular tower, and it did it on the other one too, it grows vertical for a minute and then it gets too heavy and it's going to go to the side. And you can actually see right there in the picture to the right where the stem is kind of bent. The fruit really doesn't get all that big. It stays on the smaller side. So, it's not a big deal, but you just have to make sure you support it and use that workaround with the twine to keep the stems healthy because that's what happened to the other tower. It's giving me some very strange looking flowers. Yeah, that's the other thing too. I don't get these flowers. I haven't done anything different, changed anything, but the flowers are shorter for some strange reason. I have pollinated, they are growing. These summer squash on this tower don't get humongous. They do okay, for size. We find when there's a couple down here here's one down here, that, they're just little guys. But they're very yummy. They're very yummy, very tasteful. Some beautiful flowers, and they just, lots of little clusters of them. We got a little bit of algae there. Not a big deal. I'm not going to really. So what I'm going to say about the algae is going to happen on the tower no matter how you slice it. It's there. You've got water, you've got moisture, and you've got light. There's no preventing it other than using those little malar caps. If you've got it just a little, don't worry about it. But if your whole rock wall is bright green, then you need to cover it up. When you start to shave away the leaves that were protecting the rock wall early on, it would shelter it. It would shelter the light. If you take one of those ingredients away, then your algae is going to go away. But as you can see there's no shelter. So it's starting, with the moisture and the light to grow. So I just stick on one of those little malar caps on top, kind of just around when it gets gross, and it will take it away. You just have to make sure that you don't, the waters doesn't cascade off of it. That's the only thing. Don't worry about it. But what I do love is this celery. I had to adjust the lights a little bit taller because my celery was growing out. So I want it to grow up. So what do? Just adjust the lights. But I will say this is the grocery store that I got. That when I'm done with it, I just kind of wash it, clip it, clean the bottom, and I just stuck it in the net pot. And it's given me some actually really good celery. You can see the thickness. Let me go under of the actual stalks right there. Versus the celery that I grew last year from seed, obviously that took forever. So this is just a quick little workaround when you want celery, and because it grows pretty fast. I mean, look at that. Look at that. That's just was it 2 or 3? 1, 2, and then this is 3 down here. Of different stocks. I think there was maybe 2, and it was 1, and then I got 2 in a bag, and then that's when I used them up for soup or something, and then stuck them down here. But I'm pretty impressed that they're pretty hardy. Whatever they are, they spread it up pretty fast, and I've used a ton of it already, like in stews and soups and stuff like that, because I love celery. I will say this: I bought this, and I think it was just some, I don't think it was organic. I think it was just something I picked up at Market Basket. Last year, I did some celery from seed, and it's a tiny seed. It took a long time to kind of germinate and to grow, and then to put into the tower, and then to really then get to this size. So save yourself the trouble, and literally when you're done using your grocery store celery, just shave off the excess so it fits in the net pot, and that's it. Just rinse it, get all the dirt, everything out of it. And then what you want to do is just gently scrub the bottom, and then that's it. Go put it into the top of your tower. And the reason I say the top is because it's going to get tall. So you don't really want to put it on the bottom or the sides because it's just too much. So if you put it at the top, it looks like a big hairdo. So that's what I do for celery. Like I just really keep it simple, and it can be aggressive. So, you definitely want to keep cutting it back, and remember the lights get super hot. So trim on the side where it's touching the shower cap top of the light, so that you don't insulate that heat on the light and then blow up your lights. So that's the tip with the celery. So let's go ahead and move on. All right, I believe this is week, I want to say either 2 or 3 with these guys, but as you can see, the lettuce is getting a little bit fuller. Notice that, I've only got a short stack on here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units, so that's 20 net pots total. And notice how I did not plant them all out. And the reason why I did this is because these heads get pretty big, and if you don't give them the air and the room to actually grow, to actually be a good sized lettuce, underneath these guys down here, they don't get airflow and they just get very mushy. So remember, we're in an environment where if you're inside, you've got water, you've got humidity, and you've got, just a lot of recipes. So what happens underneath is those leaves can get kind of, I won't say moldy, but they just get gooey. And then you don't really want to use the lettuce. So I learned don't plant out the whole thing. Just plant out what you need and then just turn that tower out. And when I do the lettuce, I pull the whole head out, unless I just need it a little bit. So I'll probably, once these reach a certain size, I'll start some seedlings and just leave them in the nursery. So I just decided to grow a little bit less, and I'll turn it over faster by eating what I can. That's the other thing too. When you plant this all out at once, you got more lettuce than you know what to do with, and you just feel like you're eating salad every day, and that's no fun unless you really like salad. So that's the update with the salad greens. I clipped, I think, one over here. I needed some baby greens for a topping of a plate. I actually think I did a post on that. So that's our lettuce. Be sure to check the post, because a lot of times when I'm downstairs, I'll take a picture of something and I just throw it into the post area. So that's really kind of, building up a little bit. And I did do a chicken dish with some of the tomatoes and boiled them down with chicken stock. And if anybody wants that recipe, just let me know in the comments or later. It's really, really yummy. But, using what you grow it's so much fun. And I just topped it with just a little bit of lettuce because I didn't want to pull a whole head out and not waste it, but it's just not ready. So let's move on. All right, guys, get ready for this because I know this is the showstopper. And I'm really, really happy with the way this is turning out. Okay, let's get all right, before we go any further, this is the watermelon. And last year, if you were with me, then you saw me do this trellis, which is it's called a moon gate. I've learned that title. And I found it on the curb. Somebody was getting rid of it, and I literally took it apart and dragged it home and set it up in the basement. So the first thing that I grew was cucumbers, and that was actually very, very successful. However, I strung it in a way that wasn't supportive enough. So I found this netting, and you can go and watch that video as well that I just did about, vines netting. I just dropped it, what was it, last week or the week before? And it was by VioSun. And I literally just strung it up there. So it was already had those little 6x6 squares. And I folded it over because it was super long. And then what I did was the watermelon, I used 2 towers, not 1, because I wanted those extra lights. And I took the vines when they got long enough and I just strung it through this netting. And now this picture you see on the right, it's just a little bit. But right now, when you see me in the lives downstairs with the camera, it is like a wall of green. So that's another reason why we got to get the other cameras up, because now you can't see through it. It's like literally a green wall. And there's lots and lots of little watermelons. Some I think might be pollinated, and you'll see just in a quick second. Good view from the front. So this is the front right, and it looks really, really pretty. Got a little flower down there that I just pollinated. This is the right front. And again, just something I just pollinated. This is all looking really good. This is the center of the side. You can see how this is filled in. It's a wall of green. It's like art, guys. I will say I'm using, again, the survival seed. It's called the Sugar Babies. It's a smaller variety. I'm keeping the EC because this is obviously mature at 2.4, and everything in the room for pH is 6. I really, really try to keep it there. Let's get up close. Just pollinated this guy. And then there's one right there. I want to say it's pollinated, but not sure. We'll see. When a watermelon is pollinated, it usually will drop down like you just saw. And then it will slowly start to get bigger. It's not aggressive like the zucchini, but it definitely start to get a little fuller, a little rounder. If you start to see any black lines or black spots, it's not pollinated. Just pick it off. Otherwise, the plant itself will it'll just turn brown and fall off. But just pull it, prune it off. And then coming around here, it's growing. And again, look I didn't fill all the net pots because I just knew how big this was going to get. And if I get in nice and close, there's another one in there that was pollinated. Another big guy right there. They're everywhere. But let me just go to the back. I want to show you what I found. So bear with me as I walk around. So I want to stop it right there. So compare the pictures of what you see in the video to the picture on the right. That's probably maybe 3 weeks growth. Isn't that crazy? So you can actually go and look at the video of me trellising it, and the picture on the right. That's when I did the video, and then I did this video yesterday. So I mean, it grows like crazy. But you can see it has become a wall of green. You really can't see the other side versus the picture that's on the right. So it's taken on a life of its own. But the one little thing I'll mention is that with all of those vines, I was unsure of the sturdiness of the netting once we have something that's pollinated, because they do get kind of heavy. But I can say that like when I start to go in there and pollinate, it's getting, shall I say, firm. It's firmer, so that when something's pollinated, I'll be able to take a small net with some S hooks and then just cradle it kind of like a hammock and then just hang it up. So I feel better about that. So there's 3. There's 2 right there that have potential. See how the stem of the watermelon kind of grew? And then you have the fruit that it just looks a little bit rounder. There's tons, like I said, tons of little ones that I think are pollinated, but I'm not sure because they don't grow at that rate. And I'll know relatively soon if they're pollinated or not. There's another one right there. It just, they just kind of pop up, and it's just like zucchini. When they're ready to go, they're going to go. Here's another one. But we got some rogue branches there. Oh, yeah, that's the other thing. So, again, with the live camera, I'm only leaving it on for 12 hours and cutting the light at night, so the room gets dark. But I go down in the morning, and then there's these massive shoots that have kind of come up, so I have to tuck them down because there's just not enough light for that. So it just grows so fast. And right there, I'll fix those. All right, so she's lovely, and we'll keep everybody updated on her. And obviously you can pop down the camera during the day anytime you want. All right, let's go ahead and move on. All right, so this is this tower. So let me just, obviously everybody probably knows the history, but let me just tell it. So obviously we can't use the moon gate, so I had to buy a different one, very, very inexpensive. And that's on the website too. I think it was like $15 or something like that, but it's working. So again, look at the bottom. I did not plant the bottom, and on the back side of the tower, I've pretty much stretched the vines to the best of my ability out. And then if you look at the very, very top, I've added the spider light because it did need a little more light up there. And so we're doing it. We've got some fruit, as you can see this picture. And I can honestly say I had my first cucumber that I posted in the post yesterday. We ate it last night with a salad and a burger, and it was really, really delicious. It was tasty. It was sweet. It was juicy. As we all know, that cucumbers are a superfood, and it was like eating a cucumber that you get at the end of the summer. That's how sweet it was. So it was really, really nice to have the cucumbers back in the house. The cucumber tower, and she is lovely. So every day you guys probably see me on the live if you're checking that out. And I'm in here and I'm just winding the vines onto the big trellis that we put over the tower. And I'm stretching the vines, as you can see kind of here, looping them on with a leaf. Just did this one just a minute ago. And I'm deadheading like crazy. And I've been really... Oh, the deadheading can go on for hours, but you got to do it. And you also notice in a minute, I'm going to point something out that's really, really important. So stay with me. Diligent about stripping those leaves, flowers, anything that could potentially be growing next to the vine. Once your vine is away from the net pot and you have an established, bigger leaves, you've got some flowers, it's okay to go ahead and prune all of those big leaves and anything that could be growing close to the tower. Just do yourself a favor. I'm going to tell you right now, that's a pro tip. Just do it. Otherwise, you end up, and you're going to see in a minute, I found a section down below that had powdery mildew. I don't know what it is with cucumber plants, but they are just prone to it. If there's anything, it's cucumbers. To eliminate, let me just get under here. There's another one. Well, I need to do a little cleaning on that one, as you can see, so that you don't get the powdery mildew. As you can see, it starts instantly. So you gotta just stay on top of it. Right there. See it? See it? I'll have to spray it. Anyway, so if you guys go to the website under the Nursery Essentials, that Pro Plan Pro Plus, it's a concentrate you mix with water, and you just keep that in your grow room. It works on aphids, it works on spider mites, it works on powdery mildew. It is organic. And what I do is when I find a section like that, I take a paper towel, I put it underneath the core part of right there, like kind of underneath where that stem is, and I just give it a little squirt. And then I just try to wipe off any excess. And the reason why I do that is I don't want to spray the whole plant. I just want to spray that section. And the powder, why they call it powdery mildew, it's very fine. It's like talcum powder when you blow it out of your hand. It goes airborne. You don't want that. So put the paper towel and spray it. So then it sprays into the paper towel and you just wipe it away versus having all those molecules then go into the rest of the tower. You don't want that. So it is organic. So it's fine. It's not going to hurt you. It's not going to hurt the towers, but you want to contain it is what I'm trying to say. So the majority of them are done. And what I love is that it's just so beautiful and so healthy, and the flowers are absolutely gorgeous. But let me just get in here and show you. We've got some, really nice size fruit. So right there we got 2. Inside, there's 1 there. On the back side, I just pollinated a couple things over here. But what I love is this guy's, he's ready. I'm gonna go ahead and harvest. He was yummy. That's the one I ate last night. This big boy today. Oh, there's one. They're kind of everywhere, to be honest. They just kind of pop up. One back there. Let's go see the other side. I don't have any hanging yet. I really want the vines to kind of go up. That's what I meant, hanging as in the vines. Nothing in the front. We got a couple right there. And here's a cute one right there. Another one right there. So as you can see, they're all in different stages. I've got a leaf that looks kind of battered. I'll clip him in a minute. And then we got some interior, but see how the back right there, I want to comment on that leaf. Your tower is going to, on occasion, it's going to throw you a leaf. Now, 99% of that tower is really, really healthy. Like there's nothing wrong with it other than maybe a little powdery mildew here or there. But for whatever reason, that leaf decided to turn a little yellow or a little brown. Just cut it. Don't worry about it. Some people just get like, oh my God, it's turning this, turning that. What do I do? How do I do this? Just get rid of it. There's no need to have it on there. Throw it away. Don't worry about it. If you're really concerned, check your pH in your water, check your nutrients. And if those are on point, then the whole tower is just fine. That leaf decided, hey, I'm old. It's time to go. Try to get into the back for you. See that vine, how I stripped it? I just want the foliage right there. It's kind of naked back there. So, there we go. It's just too hard to get to. So I can get to the sides, I can get to the top, get to the front, but I just can't get to the back. So there she is. It's definitely given some fruit. And it's only been a short couple weeks doing my job, like I said, of pollinating and pruning back. That is the secret to cucumbers. I'm using the Space Master 80. I want to say it's the Survival. It is. The water, let's see, the EC I keep at 2.4 and the pH I always... Remember, it's a mature plant. So when I say I keep the EC at 2.4, that's when the plant is at this stage. When you first put it in, you want to keep it on the lower, and then each week as it continuously grows, you bump it up a little bit more and a little bit more till you max out. Now, how do you get these numbers? If you go to the website right there, towergardeningmadeeasy.com, and go under the nutrient school, there's a PDF that's completely free. Click on it and download it. It has every vegetable that you potentially could grow on your tower and a little bit more. There are two columns that are highlighted. One is the EC and one is the pH. And just follow that. And then the lower point, I would say ignore that. Just go with when you put it in at a very low, each week, bump it up, and then till it gets to a point where it's really starting to flower and fruit, and then that's when you want to max it out, and that would be that higher number. And that's what I do in the grow room. And you'll see me do it time and time again, but for the people that are new, that are just here, that are just chiming in, that's what I do. And if you don't know or you're unsure, you are welcome to contact me through the website, through YouTube, through a comment, through a post, however you feel comfortable. I'm happy to help you. Keep at 6. Sometimes it drops a little bit between the 5.5 and the 6. It really doesn't waver too much. It's pretty steady eddy, but they don't like it high. That's when you're going to get the burning, the yellowing, and you'll know something's off. So be sure to check it. So that is the cucumbers. Okay, so it's so fun to be back on this platform, and I think what I'll do, depending on what happens with the cameras on the other side, and how we can zoom in, we're going to continue with that. That's for your convenience to pop in and out of the room during the day, and I will do some like mini videos like this and get back on this platform and bring it to you and just kind of go through it. That way you can see what I'm doing or not doing, and then I fix the problem, and then you're able to kind of learn through my mistakes, like the zucchini tower in the corner that we're going to rip apart. So let's take a short break, and I'm going to end this, and then I'm going to start the camera downstairs, and I'm going to go through my daily chores. So I will see you on the other side. We'll see you soon.